We can do it.
Yep. Well.
Wait, what did you do? You filtered by color, huh?
On mine.
That's smart. Oh,
How
sorry.
do you do that?
I already filtered yours, man. At the 6-minute mark, we're coming at you live.
Appreciate that. My eyes aren't what they used to be.
It's just squinting over here. So we're doing what we do every year on this exact same day, May 18th. We're giving you the fresh rookie grades coming straight off the NFL draft. Now we've got everything we need to know. We've got the draft capital. We've got the raw talent from scouting them. The combine made it into the raw equation as well. But now we know the landing spots. We know the competition. We know how the role might open up throughout their career as far as future competition.
Amen.
And what that team looks like. So without getting too nuts, we're just going to jump right into it. We're grading off the landing spots, future role, raw talent, and the draft capital's baked into all this. We need to talk about the running backs, man. This is probably the most fantasy relevant position.
And we got the sheet on the screen, so get on over to YouTube, man.
Get on the YouTube. If you're not looking at me, you know I'm looking at you, so you better be looking at me. I don't know. I can't back that up. It's not an actual tube. It's one way. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is just go through each category and talk about people who have scored well. And the way I'm going to do this with running backs seems it's how they don't have like premier scores this year. It was a bit of a we didn't have that all-star. I'm going to do any score 4 or higher on these guys. So we're going to start with the landing spot grade. And personally, I've got 3 running backs with the 4 or higher on that landing spot grade. We're going to see what Christian's got. Looks like he's got 5. Ooh, I like that. And AJ himself, Mr. Optimistic, has got...
I'm not the guru, man.
Oh, my goodness. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got a lot of running backs to start the episode with. And I'll just go ahead and give you my top score is Dameon Pierce. He's in with the Houston Texans. I gave him a 4.5 on the landing spot. What do you got for him, AJ?
I got a 4.
Okay.
Obviously.
4 as well.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what? And I'm going to start this real quick. Why isn't that a 5?
Because the Texans suck.
Yeah, O-line.
Then why is everyone so optimistic about it? Me being the most
Opportunity.
optimistic. I guess.
I don't know. It's a great opportunity because there's nobody else there with a pulse.
But he doesn't have the raw talent. Dude, perfect. You got me. You're right there with it.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing to
much.
bring up. Why is that not a 5? Houston, you got to look at O-line, a little bit questionable. You got to look at wide receiver, and you got to look at quarterback. So you got Davis Mills, you got a couple of young wide receivers, and then you got Brandon Cooks, right? So what in that opens up the run game? Pretty much nothing. And then you look at the depth chart in the running back room, and you got Marlon Mack, you got
Rexy.
Rex Burkhead,
Sexy Rex.
Sexy Rexy.
Agumba Wale's in there. Like, there's a couple of speed bumps for him to get past, but I think he does have the best landing spot as far as competition in the running back.
I got one for you.
Okay. Oh, I don't know what's happening, but I'm ready for it.
I just have a challenge to that. No, Christian, what else you got on Dameon?
That's it. I mean, we've talked about Dameon quite a bit. I can't give the Texans a 5.
Yeah,
That's true.
Just point blank, period. Pierce does have one of the highest option or like opportunities available to him. But the Texans are just too disorganized and mismanaged for me to want to give them a 5.
yeah.
Straight up.
Dude, I swear, I know it's every time I look at Dameon Pierce, all I see is LaMichael Pirine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't affect the landing spot.
I mean, yeah, I gave him a 2.5.
That's true. Okay, sorry, I'm off the rails. I picked James Cook as a landing spot of 5.
Oh.
And I think that's a better spot than Dameon Pierce. Who did you guys have him? What did you guys have him at? You had him at a spot? Thank you. Come on,
I'm
man.
starting to buy into
4.
the hype.
Bro, a team that's been linked to Christian McCaffrey, a team that wanted J.D. McKissick but couldn't have him, instead goes out and gets James Cook. I'd say the best receiving back. I mean, you could argue Rachaad White, but he's a true running back, like running back out of the backfield. This is a guy that's all over the place. He could play the slot. He could play down the field. He's got great hands. And he looks like his brother, baby, just a little smaller. So
a lot of people look like their brothers.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not when they run.
That's true. I don't look like my brothers. Well, I have
but
50-50.
I'm buying in high-powered offense. His competition's Devin Singletary, and I think Devin Singletary still gets his carries. I still think he still gets his 15 touches, but I think James Cook is going to be the guy that gets like maybe 8 to 10 carries and like 6 to 7 receptions. And man, for a running back 2 on your
6 to 7
team,
receptions.
hell yeah, dude.
Bullshit stuff.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Let's just say 3 to 4.
Okay.
With the abilities that he has in open field with the ball in his hands, I like that. I'm smashing that. That's a 5. They want this guy.
Okay, well, I'm the only person that gave him a 5 for the future role, which is ironic because Devin Singletary, who you said is still going to have a role on this team, is in the last year of his rookie deal.
True.
So I'm looking forward to him being a 5 in the future. And I gave him a 4. It's not like I gave him a 0. But to me, every time when you talk about Buffalo, when you talk about the backfield, you got to talk about Josh Allen in the red zone.
Yeah.
You're taking opportunities to score 6 fantasy points away 50% of the time when you get in the red zone because of the way Josh Allen rushes the ball, and that takes away from the landing spot in my eyes. Then I'm not arguing. I'm just defending my 1 point lower.
True.
Let's move it to a 4.
But what I did,
I got one. I got one.
But what I'm saying is, from a fantasy perspective, like I want this guy as my second RB on my team. Like that's where I want him. I guess it's just a strategy field, but I want my guy like a James Conner who's going to score my touchdowns. And then I want my PPR back. And this guy's capable. He reminds me of like an Aaron Jones where he could take the ball from the 20-yard line, dump it off, and score that touchdown. He doesn't need the red zone. That's
fine.
what I'm saying.
But yeah, he's your RB2 on your fantasy team. But if he had a landing spot in Houston, would he maybe be your RB1? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? There's better landing spots. That's all I'm saying.
I think this was the best for this type of player.
Damn. All right. Well, fuck it.
I drafted him too, so I'm all in, man. You can't like.
Yeah, you got
That's the best landing spot for James Cook.
Yeah.
You got a huge
AJ's.
Vikings fan, a huge Dalvin Cook fan, a Stephon Diggs fan. Took the fandom with him to Buffalo, so we got a hybrid Vikings, Cook, Diggs, Bills fan over here.
You're just trying to get your point across.
Frankenstein's monster of Minnesota rejects.
Ugh.
Over there.
I've just described you in a sentence. It
Yeah.
was very easy to do.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was not the most rude thing I've ever said to him, but we're in top
not.
10 territory.
Uh,
So moving along, if that's okay
glad
with
you could see the bat signal. So
My goodness. Oh, yeah, the bat signal. This guy. That's an old school, man. That was a good one. I guess we'll just knock it out while we're here. Breece Hall, I have as a 4 on
Yeah,
the
me
landing
too.
spot.
Yep.
And we all have that. And it's clear there's probably more of a clear path to absolute 3-down bell cow role. You're talking about a team that took Michael Carter last year in the early third. They ran him as, I would say they wanted to run him as a lead back. Clearly, he wasn't capable of producing in that type of way. So now they have what I would call a clear lead role back. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's going to share a backfield with a guy who has another 3 years on his contract, that has pretty good draft capital, and has already been in a 1-2 punch when we talk about North Carolina and Javonte Williams. So if you're looking at best case scenario, this is not it. But it is pretty good. So I give him a 4 on that. Might as well roll it into some of these other.
I was going to have a quick point.
Yep.
Though he is a landing spot of 4, I would say this reminds me when I was looking at last year's, like a Jamar Chase. We all had him as a 4 for landing spot 2 because it was a crowded room. But I think this is a situation where talent will prevail. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if next year we're talking like that should have been a 5.
Well, that's why I have the future roll rating as a 5.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Same here.
Yep. 4 5
like we're
5
nailing
for
it.
Breece Hall.
4 5 5. I did that too. I actually had him at 4 5 4.5. But then I saw your guys's and I put it to 5. Like raw talent, running back. Like if you're not Jonathan Taylor, you don't get a 5. If you're not Nick Chubb, you don't get a 5. But I understand that we're doing this as a sample size within itself.
I guess I graded off this class.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not because that's way too much to think about. So, to me, my eyes, he's clearly the best running back on the board. He gets a 5.
Well, just to blow your mind, since we've done this 2 years in a row, I'm compiling both these rookie classes and comparing them against each other in the future, right?
Oh, shit.
100%.
This will just be a bookmark that we build on every year. So
there we go.
Look forward to that episode when we get into the second year, guys, in a couple of weeks. So it's going to be a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Well, if anyone else has anything to say about Breece, then speak now, forever. Wait till them
Breece
Jets
your
take
piece.
off. That's right. Well, now it's up to you guys. I've said all of the fellas that I have as a 4 or higher in the landing spot department. Anyone else want to carry the torch on that? You guys have a few more fellas than I.
I got 2 more. Yeah. I'll talk about Kenny Walker. I gave him a 4. I think it's going to be a little maybe bit of a question mark this year with Penny and Chris Carson being there and whatnot. But I think they wanted a true number 1 bell cow there. And I think you get that in Walker. I mean, you don't get a lot in the receiving game out of him. So that is a bit of an issue. But he's the best pure runner they've had in a while. I mean, who knows if it's going to work out. Obviously, he's a rookie. And he's coming off only 1 year of truly elite production. But it seems like a changing of the guard in Seattle, or that they just don't know what the fuck they're doing. So maybe that's why I didn't give it a 5. But I think they're going to run the ball a lot more, and I think it's going to be pretty Kenny Walker focused maybe about halfway through the year.
Yeah, initially I was super excited about the landing spot for him. But then I remember that this is Pete Carroll we're dealing with.
Yeah.
This is a Seattle team that doesn't care about draft capital. Obviously, they went after their guy, but it could be an undrafted free agent that comes into there and just steals the heart. Everyone has a shot in Seattle, and so he walks into a backfield that already has high draft capital in Rachaad Penny and then high performance in Chris Carson. So it just makes me a little hesitant. Because if either of those two, God forbid both of those two, hit the ground running, then Kenneth Walker all of a sudden is, a rotational piece that is, could be easily forgotten as far as this season. And then for a future role, I gave him a bump. I gave him the healthy 4.5 So that's kind of where I'm coming from on that side of things.
I gave him a 5 for future role. I think he's going to be the guy there, but I see what you're saying for sure.
Right on. Yeah, both the Penny and Carson fall off the books after this year. So so that future role is locked in. I like that 5. I should have considered that.
Yeah. I had it low across the board, but I've now been convinced.
Okay.
I think it's going to be murky this first year.
Yeah, at first he's not a slam dunk like day one starter for your fantasy team. I wouldn't think, which sucks when you're taking him with the number 2 overall pick in your rookie draft. But I think eventually he'll get there. And that's where I'm at with Walker.
Yeah, you're gonna be really upset when Travis Homer starts running the ball over Kenneth Walker. You're just like, what in
the fuck? My only other guy with a number 4, I gave Zamir White a 4. I like the Raiders. I think he's already the number 2 there. I think Kenyon Drake's still there, but John Gruden's not, and that's one of his guys. So I think he's on the way out, and Zamir White is immediately the number 2. And then we all know about Josh Jacobs' option being declined. So I think his future role gets a bump to the 4 as well. I just think he's going to have a lot of chances, and they drafted him fairly early, at least for a running back, that is. And yeah, I think I'm pretty in on Zamir White.
I'll piggyback off you because I also have as a 4-4 with the landing spot in the future role. And I think this is just, to me, it's a clear decision that we picked this guy. This is our guy. We're a new regime. We don't want this. Clearly, Josh Jacobs is a good running back, so let's keep him around. But after this year, it's our show, and this is our guy. And he has the talent to show out. And if he does, he's going to stick.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's Josh McDaniels and the running back committee, New England style.
True.
Kind of dilutes things just barely for me. I give him a future role of a 4. You're right. If Josh Jacobs does come back to the Raiders, it's going to be because he made you say Zamari who, then that doesn't seem like a possibility. So I think that future role is locked in pretty well. Strong pick at the 2-4. Still jealous on that.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever, dude. Congratulations. Don't want to talk to you anymore. Just joking, guys. We're all having fun here.
I guess I had one. I had a landing spot 5 for Tyler Allgeier.
Okay, yeah, that's one that could easily be convinced of. I had him at a 3-5, so we're talking 4 or better, and you got him at a 5. Talk a little bit about it, man.
I'm just saying the release of Mike Davis helps a lot. It's more just look at the depth chart, man. You have a Dameon Williams who seems like a running back that kind of gets the ball dumped off to him a lot. Like, he's a good running back in space. Cordero Patterson, he's a wide receiver, special teams hybrid. So, and there was speak of him working the slot or working outside. I think now with the Bryan Edwards trade, that's not as likely. But you're talking about 2 running backs that are going to be 30-plus by the start of the season, and you have Tyler Allgeier. So unless you're expecting something else to happen, I think the ball's in his court. He was drafted in the 5th round, so it's not like they're too concerned. So that's my concern. But maybe I should have made it a 4.5 just with the speculation of being like, we're not so sure. We'll just take you in the 5th. But maybe they just knew he'd fall to the 5th. So this is your Dameon Pierce. This is your opportunity. I just think it's a better opportunity because you don't have any veterans on your team that were true running backs, which I think Marlon Mack is on that Houston team. So he could be just the power back. I'm not saying huge production, but I think an opportunity to do like 600 and then be like a red zone guy. If
touchdown vulture for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a couple of them in this class.
Yeah.
Snoop Conner, Tyler Allgeier.
Don't even talk about Snoop Conner.
TDP.
Abram Smith. Abram Smith could be a touchdown vulture.
Not after how you did us dirty last week.
What?
You heard me. Talking about the undrafted free agent draft that we did last week.
Yeah, Snoop Conner was picked in the 5th, dog.
Oh, was he?
Snoop Conner.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either until I
thought I picked it. Are you serious? Oh,
154 4th pick by the Jacksonville
Shit.
Jaguars.
You just couldn't believe the Jaguars took another running back. You're like, what the
I guess
fuck?
not.
Yeah, just
You know what's funny is I Googled a list of undrafted free agents by team, and that's where I got Snoop Connor's name. So that article should also get some flack.
Yeah.
We'll link that article down in the description below.
If you don't know what we're talking about, it's the last 10 minutes of last week's episode. We did a undrafted free agent draft. We each picked 3 for season-long total points, and it was a lot of fun until Christian went and picked a guy that wasn't undrafted.
Cheated.
But now what you're saying with
I'll pick a
Tyler
new guy.
Allgeier, you got it, man. Just don't use
Just
that
take
same
Justin.
article.
Just take Justin Ross. Just make it easy.
That's true.
Fine.
And then we'll all end up with 2 wide receivers and 1 running back, I think. I can't remember.
Tight.
So, yeah, with Tyler Allgeier, yeah, I already talked about him enough, but the fact that the field goal kicker for BYU only had like 1 field goal inside the 10-yard line kind of goes to show that this guy scores. You know, get him to the red zone, he'll get you to the end zone. I should have taken him at the 2-9. I don't know what happened to me. I think I got him confused with Dameon Pierce and getting all those weird P. Ryan takes in my head, colliding thoughts. But I think Tyler Allgeier to the moon. I'm not leaving any more rookie drafts without him. I'll tell you that much.
Fair enough.
So that's what's up. That's where I'm at with him. Who else we got, man? You got the endless pot of landing spot gold over there.
I don't know what I'm doing, man. I put Rachaad White
Oh fuck!
as a 4.
I love that. I love to hear it. Love to see it.
I don't know. I think I got a little carried away with his attitude. I love his attitude, man. The guy wants to be a starter. He's an older back coming out. I think he's pro ready. I think he could catch balls out of the backfield. And I think Leonard Fournette's not capable of playing a full season.
Let's say let Leonard Fournette get hurt for more than 1 week, and I bet Rachaad White takes his job almost immediately.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
I will say,
Optimistic
though,
on injury.
I had Rachaad White at a 4, and then when I was doing research for this episode, I was hoping to see more secondary running back targets behind Leonard Fournette's 84 targets last season. And the next closest running back was Giovanni Bernard with 29, which was pretty underwhelming. I thought
he's at least getting 29.
Yeah, I thought there would be a more of an even split there, and that's when I knocked him down to 3, and I think I kind of more was on the same page with Dan on that. But I do think White is better than Giovanni Bernard is right now. Maybe not back in the day, because Gio was a good little career Giovanni Bernard has had. But
who does Giovanni Bernard play for now?
Nobody, I don't think. But he played for Tampa last year.
Mm-hmm. He still does.
Is he still there?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That's all I'm saying, man.
Well, no, yeah, and that's where I'm with you. I do think White, though, I could see Bernard getting cut before training camp.
Absolutely.
White, yeah.
Absolutely.
White taking that rollover. I think he gets more than 29 targets because I think he's going to be able to do more with 29 targets than Bernard was able to. But more I'm in the camp of if Leonard Fournette goes down, you could see a superstar show up in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. I heard that he's just like Ronald Jones.
Oh, yeah, you go check the messages, dude.
Check the tweets. That tweet was so fierce. Shit was awesome. Yeah, I love Rachaad White, man. I don't even know what to say about him, but it's going to take an injury, which means his landing spot isn't premium in my mind.
For sure.
So that is what it is. Rachaad to the moon. He is not Rachaad the God. He is Rachaad the second or third string running back for Tampa Bay.
Second. We'll lock it in.
Okay. Alrighty then.
That's what I was basing the landing spot off. He's a 4 at being the RB2 on that team.
Hell yeah, man. So I see you got one more.
Yeah. I think I talked myself into this, which I do all the time.
Did you draft this guy? You got to preface this stuff. AJ drafted this.
I drafted this, but I also want to say
glasses.
TDP, which I'm calling him.
Okay.
Mr. TDP, Ty Davis Price.
Oh.
I gave him a 4 just because people can't stay healthy on that roster. But also, I'll mention I have the future role as a 2. I don't think he'll last long, but he has no injury history, and everyone else on that team does. So
what?
Running back wise,
no, yeah. I'm sorry, man. I'm a complete opposite. I give him a landing spot at 2.5 with a future role of a 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because Trey Sermon is obviously.
Am I dyslexic?
Nah,
oh,
dude.
Sorry.
Trey Sermon obviously can be ushered out the door, but then you got anyone else there. Jeff Wilson is 1 year, right?
Yeah.
And so it's basically, it looks like Elijah and TDP right into the sunset. You know, once Sermon gets traded or whatever gets cut, because we know that they're not going to carry more than 3 running backs on their active roster going into game day. And when Sermon starts being a healthy scratch 10 weeks in a row, he probably has enough name value where they can get a return on him. And then you're going into next year, and it's just Elijah Mitchell and TDP. That's what I see. A future role looking pretty good because he's a heavy guy up in the 220 range, and he ran a pretty good 40 time, around 4.4. So Elijah Mitchell has had some injury issues, and he doesn't profile as the same style of running back as Price. So I think that he's got some potential.
I think it's gonna be a nice 1-2 punch there, for sure.
He's going to do that shit that Sermon should have been doing.
1-1, 2-2, whatever you want to call it. I feel like they could end up being equally used. Like, I don't know that Mitchell is necessarily going to be the true number 1 forever. This year for sure. But then going into next year, like Dan's saying, like when you lose Sermon and you want to split more time, and then with the injuries, yeah. But I'm with you. I gave him a 3. The future role I had as a 3 as well. Could probably bump that up. But yeah, no, I'm with you.
Man, new rule. I'm filling this sheet out before our rookie draft next year. This is pissing me off.
That I'm doing this?
No. Just, these are my thoughts and opinions, and they didn't manifest till it was too late. And they were always in there, but they were never so easily sortable. So, So here I am, lamenting a few things, but that's all good. Let's see. I'm switching over to future roles and seeing if I have anyone above a 4 that didn't get pushed into the landing spot above a 4, and I implore you guys to do the same.
Don't have anyone.
I got a ton of them. I don't know how.
Oh God, this guy, Mr. Optimistic over here.
Mr. Optimistic. Yeah, I'll walk you through. It looks like I've got 2 that haven't already been discussed, 4 in total. But Hassan Haskins, and this comes down to pretty much what we may or may. It's kind of unspoken, but I know we've talked about it. Like Derrick Henry got a foot injury and missed quite a bit of time, and he came back for the playoffs. They had the bye week, they had the energy, they were winning without him, and then he got on the field and it didn't really look that hot. And I'm sure a whole offseason's going to help, but there's a chance that we may be seeing the decline of Derrick Henry, and Hassan Haskins is a pretty well put together back, coming out of Michigan, and Wolverines. It's a Red Dawn joke, but
Don't explain it.
I explain all my jokes. Otherwise, how would they be ruined instantly?
That's true.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential for Hassan Haskins to take over as a lead back if Derrick Henry has to become a rotational guy. And so for that reason, I gave him the 4. I don't think it's right off the bat, but I think that he gains a little bit of ground on Derrick Henry and starts to chip away at his role. And by next year, we could be seeing a pretty healthy, kind of a similar thing that Derrick Henry himself went through when he was starting out with everything going on.
I like that take.
I'm 100% with you. I think Haskins kind of landed in the perfect spot for himself. He doesn't need to be the guy because Derrick Henry's there, and then he can kind of exactly what you're saying, just chip away and then become a guy. He's not going to be a superstar and have maybe a Hall of Fame career that way, but he can be a very solid fantasy player for you in a dynasty league, especially if you grab him early and just sit on him.
Hell yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Sitting on a dude. Next up for me is Keaontay Ingram. I give him a future role of a 4. And this comes with a little bit of James Conner optimism. You have to respect James Conner. He's going around in some circles as a top 5 RB coming into this year. But we know that he can be injured. We know that a decline can happen as swiftly as an incline, right? And peak up and fall out. And I think that there's a potential for that to happen. I wouldn't bet on it. I think James Conner can have a sustainable role, but I also think that he needs a supplemental runner to share the backfield with. You know, I could go shit on Eno Benjamin, but then why is AJ here? If I'm
hashtag Eno Benjamin.
So
watch the tape. 6th round pick.
Hey man, he led like all of college football in yards the year. His junior year. It doesn't matter. fuck it all, man. Anyway,
that little Sun Devil.
Keaontay Ingram's got a huge opportunity to come in there and make a name for himself without the pressure. It's kind of a Hassan Haskins plus type situation. And dude, the guy was feisty with Notre Dame. He was serious. Like, okay, he didn't run a great 40, but if you watch him play football, he didn't look slow. He didn't look unathletic. He looked like a man out there, and he's going to take it all the way. He's taken over that Chase Edmonds target role, and he is a receiving back out of the backfield, going to come in and completely smash it. Why didn't we do this before our rookie draft? What the fuck is wrong with us?
Yeah.
Well, now we know not to do it on the same day next year.
I've been talking about this Keaontay guy for a minute.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I've been talking, you know me, I watched the Pac-12 late nights, Saturday. And I watched quite a bit of Notre Dame. And damn, I got excited. I might have whispered his name to you for the first time when you heard it. Booming. But I don't know why I'm talking so much. Anyone else got something to say about Arizona's backfield?
Arizona or Arizona State?
I think
Honestly, Benjamin. No.
Hey,
oh, sorry.
Whoa.
I digress.
Hey.
No, I don't.
Offensive.
I'd say it's not above a 4. The only guy that really sticks out for me the future was Jerome Ford. I gave it a 3.5. I could easily see that maybe bumping up to a 4 just with Kareem and Dearness out either before the season starts or mid-season, but definitely before the end of next season. I think it's pretty noted that they don't want those guys around. They drafted Jerome Ford. He's a strong little runner, man. He'll have... I don't mean to say little. I don't mean to be like rude.
You mean sizest right now?
Yeah, I'm a little bit. Yeah, because he's like
Been
my
there.
height and way bigger. My bad.
We can't all be 6.5 feet tall. What up?
Yeah. But no, I don't know. I can see it. It depends. We discussed it kind of before the episode about the Browns like being a ground and pound team. So if they stay true to their roots and Jerome Ford gets an opportunity, I think he could do something. But that's why I have it at 3.5. It's very murky.
I got some of the best running back depth in the league right there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like San Francisco on steroids.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It don't matter none.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ford a lot. I have it at a 2 just because until either Hunt or Chubb is out of that room, it's hard for me to envision where they're at. But they should be gone, so I probably need to up that. But I like Ford a lot. I don't really have any guys for a future role waiting over 4 that haven't been mentioned. But a guy I want to mention, just a fun little stat. You guys know I talk about Pierre Strong a lot, and obviously the New England room is a question mark. But let me throw this at you. The Patriots in 2020 had a touch count, and that's rush attempts and targets for guys who I'm going to call change of pace guys, James White, JJ Taylor, Rex Burkhead, those three guys. In 2020, those three guys got 222 attempts on the Patriots offense.
Damn,
in
dude.
2021, people of similar size or White and Taylor got 47 for the entire year in 2021. And I make that point to say that they put a pretty strong price tag on Pierre Strong for a team that really has a pretty solid running back room in Dameon Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, James White. You draft Pierre Strong in the 4th round. I think they want that number to go back up. I just don't think they had the bodies to really supplement Harris and Ramondre Stevenson last year. And it dropped by almost 200 attempts for guys that are like a quicker, more receiver-oriented thing. And so I don't have Pierre Strong as a 4. I have him as a 3 just because it's like so up in the air. But I really do stand by the fact that the Patriots want to get the ball in the hands of somebody in the backfield that's got a little bit more pizzazz, I guess, or like playmaking ability than these other bigger running backs that they have.
I'm with you, man. You kind of, I don't know how you did it. I'd sorted everything by the raw talent to see if I had a 4 or higher that hadn't been mentioned. And Pierre Strong was the one.
Oh, shit. There you go.
So hearing you break down the opportunities and kind of just the void that he's filling with that team, some solid shit right there. I think you got to be excited about a New England running back. Just take it and run it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be like every New England running back, and you'll get an awesome year or 2 out of him, and then he'll disappear, or he'll disappear every other week. But I'm just saying that there are more opportunities there than I think people are giving it credit for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got James White there, too. Just like let that guy show Pierre Strong how to do the best version of James White.
Yeah. During the preseason, and then you can just cut James White.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. Well, now I'm going to wrap it up and go through consensus total scores and hit on some guys we missed. I will say that's my bad. Keaontay Ingram, USC running back. I said Notre Dame in there. I was getting him confused with the guy we're about to talk about.
Oh, I think you were talking about Keaontay Ingram versus Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah, I was, of course.
Yeah.
But I didn't want anyone to get confused because that was the game where Drake London had a historical high number of catches against Notre Dame.
I'm pretty sure 17. You dream about that often.
I know, dude. It doesn't matter. But if I'll just throw it out there, he's not at the top of the list, but Kyren Williams is the actual running back from Notre Dame. Just to close that whole loop of consciousness that I was going through there, dreaming about that game. But he lands with the Rams, and this is a guy who didn't hit any 4s. I give him a kind of a 2.5 for the landing spot now, but I give him 3.5 on the talent and for the future role because we are in the last year of Darrell Henderson's rookie deal, so he could have a future role, I guess, and then there's been some injury and some opportunity for 3 running backs in that backfield for a couple of years now. So I don't know. They pass the ball around a little bit. They give guys the opportunity. They try to keep their players fresh because they know that they're going to be, going deep in the postseason. So think he's got some opportunity a little bit. Just throwing it out there.
Maybe. I think this
possibly.
I think this team just wastes picks. Tutu Atwell, Jacob Harris. They just fucking suck at it.
Jake Funk.
That's true.
He was undrafted, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was. But I don't know, man. I think maybe I need to get my head out of the Kyren depression I've been in. I was so excited about Kyren Williams, and he just let me down so hard. I have him as a 2 landing spot, a 2 future, and a 2.5 on raw talent. So maybe I'm just too negative on the Kyren experience. But honestly, when he went to the Rams, I was like, oh, cool. I kind of exactly echoing AJ just now. Like, oh, great. So like he's just not going to do anything then. Like, and I could be 100% wrong because you are right. Like there are opportunities there. They do have a multifaceted backfield. Just something about it reeks of like, oh, well, we've got all these picks. We don't care. What? Kyren Williams is still around in the 5th round? Let's grab that guy because he's the big name.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to not do anything.
It's like, that's supposed to be Cole Strange.
Yeah. Like, and so I guess that's where I'm coming at. Like, we were talking about Kyren Williams being like the number 2 running back at one point, and now it's like, fuck. So maybe I'm a little too harsh, but I have pretty much no interest in Kyren Williams at this point.
Between my candle in the window and your, middle finger and out the window, we actually average out right at what AJ scored him. So we're
nice.
We got
all facets covered on Kyren Williams.
All the flavors. Yeah, so forget that. We don't need to talk about the stinking Rams anyway. Let's talk about the other LA team. And this is one who I do think the opportunity, the landing spot is pretty decent with Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah.
So I guess I gave him a 3. I probably bumped that up as far as landing spot goes. Yep. Christian gave him a 3.
I'm 3s across the board.
3s across the board.
I gave him a 3.5 for raw talent, but other than that, it was 3s across the board. Just with Eckler being there. It's a huge wild card. I mean, Eckler's not consistently healthy, but when he's in there, it's pretty much the Eckler show anymore. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's how it looks to me usually. So from that angle, I'm a little scared, but like, yeah, I'm with you. Spiller's the number 2 there. They drafted all these guys like Josh Jackson and whoever the hell else starts with.
Larry Roundtree, bro.
Yeah,
Joshua Kelly, Justin Jackson.
Yeah, Joshua Kelly, Justin Jackson.
Actually, I like Josh Jackson better. Makes more
They're
sense.
the same. Whatever. They're the
same.
JK, JJ.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and take a look here, and it's going to take me just a second, but I'm going to get all the way there.
I am a little optimistic on Isaiah Spiller, but I didn't like how all the teams passed on him.
Yeah.
That worries the heck out of me.
They must have been listening to Fantasy Football Podcast.
Yeah, that must have been it. BDG.
Which is rude. Like, give us credit or call us.
For sure. Yeah, we are your GM, but, treat us with some respect. But, yeah, I mean, you name some names. Justin Jackson, Larry Roundtree, Joshua Kelly. You bottle these guys up. You throw the dice on the table, and you got over 130 carries last year. So I think if he can go in there and prove that he's what they've been looking for, what they've been missing, and that supplemental role, give Eckler a little bit of breathing room to preserve the energy, because you can't just run one back that's Eckler's size all season long. And a little versatility.
It also felt like every time they had to go to somebody other than Eckler, they just lost a little something on their offense, which is where Spiller. That's where you hope he fixes it, is because like it was almost like if Eckler's in, they can't run the ball. If Eckler's not in, then the Chargers couldn't really run the ball that well. And so at least with Spiller, you've got a name brand, like a bigger guy, good size, who can kind of come out there and spell Eckler a little better than all these other kind of whatever guys. No offense to Larry Roundtree, I guess, but
no, I missed on that one. I just dropped him for Tyler Batty. So
I do think they clearly wanted to. Like, they desperately wanted to. Like, if you watched any of the games, they would commit to one guy being the 2, and then when they didn't do it, they went to the other guy. So I could see a world where those 130 carries could go all to Isaiah Spiller if he can prove himself and be that number 2. So I don't think LA will have any problem just being like, you guys are done. This is our 1-2 punch, and that's that.
Yeah, and he's got to have a chip on his shoulder at this point. And he's a good pass blocker.
Yeah.
So just sky's the limit, man. Fuck, I said it again. All right, we're gonna get the hell out of that conversation and run right into the willing arms of the Commanders. Brian Robinson Jr. This is one that I think someone else besides me has more to say about, so I'll let you do it.
Oh, I mean, if you listen to our episode a couple weeks ago, I talked about Brain Robinson here. Is that?
Yep.
That is a typo. Brain Robinson.
Oh.
He kind of just fucks up
Pierce.
this whole Commanders backfield. You have articles coming out right now. I saw one today that the headline was Brian Robinson, the beginning of the end for Antonio Gibson. And so that's the kind of like fucking smoke that you're putting up in this backfield. And I just think it's going to end up ruining all of these guys. It's going to ruin J.D. McKissic. It's going to ruin Brian Robinson. It's going to ruin Antonio Gibson. But it's not going to make any of them like a superstar. Whereas like this article is implying Brian Robinson's going to be the guy. I don't think so. But it's good from a football angle. I'm just worried about it all around, all on every running back in that room, how it's going to affect them.
Yeah, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on Brian Robinson. I've been lukewarm on him this whole time, so we're just going to let it be. I'm with you. That article's ridiculous. I made a joke last week. I said people are calling Brian Robinson the reason Antonio Gibson's a slot receiver now, and that was a joke because I think if Antonio Gibson can stay healthy, then all of a sudden you got, Brian Robinson Jr. could do goal line, could be a spell back, could have the 1B, but I think that he's locked into a similar role as what we were just talking about, Isaiah Spiller, and that's pretty much the ceiling, in my opinion.
And also, they had an opportunity to let J.D. McKissic go, and they're like, no, come back.
Yeah.
So there's clearly a role for him as well.
Yeah, so maybe I'm wrong, and Antonio Gibson's shares are about to get diluted, but
I think it remains Gibson McKissic, honestly.
Yeah, unless there's an injury.
I'm just going based on what Ron Rivera said. And he straight up said that Robinson and Gibson are going to be like a
Jonathan Stewart.
And
was
so
D'Angelo Williams?
Yeah.
Say what you want about Ron Rivera. He doesn't say shit that he doesn't mean. Like he doesn't have to.
Like when he said Antonio Gibson was going to be the next Christian McCaffrey. Do you remember when he said that?
Did he say that? Okay,
yeah,
well then,
sure.
fucking, I guess
Taylor Heineke's our guy.
That's what he said after they drafted him. Because he's.
I believe that he believed that.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's not in the realm of possibilities. Especially, you know what? This isn't the Antonio Gibson show.
Yeah, especially because James Cook is the next Christian McCaffrey. Okay.
Scheist.
All he's missing is about 6 pounds.
Well, while you're talking,
You heard it here first.
While you're spouting knowledge over there, I threw Ty Chandler on.
He'll be interesting, man.
Minnesota Vikings.
Dalvin Cook on the entering 27 club. Alexander Mattison is last year's
rookie deal.
His rookie deal. Kene Wangu, I think we have established him as a special teams guy. So Ty Chandler definitely is intriguing. It's just it's that not really worthy of the roster spot. But if I had a taxi squad, I'd put him there all day.
I had a waiver in
Tyler
for him.
Goodson.
Yeah, same. Yep. Glad we don't have taxi squads. Because the last thing you want to do is bring the attention of these players up to your league mates by shuffling through taxi
or by
squad.
Talking about them on a podcast.
Yeah.
Listen, I spread as much misinformation as I spread valid information.
I know. That's like when you were talking earlier, like, we should have done this before the draft. I'm like, it would have just changed everything for the fucking people watching, man.
Nah, man. Like, I can fill the sheet out without doing the episode. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, can we all agree next year we're going to have like a dark horse, like a horrible player that we just fucking really pump up and see if he goes in the for the belt draft?
Yeah, man.
I would love to do that.
A real Dameon Pierce. Just joking, Lance. So that pretty much rounds it out. Let's just do a hot shot of tight end noise because there's not a ton of them to go around, but I think we all have a little bit possibly to say about one or two or five of them. I wouldn't go to five. I wouldn't say five. I could squeeze a fifth in. I could squeeze a fifth.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
You don't have to, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
What is happening? How am I changing the formula? Stop. All right, I just closed it. I closed it.
Sorry about your formula. Oh.
It was your formula. That's why I closed it. I didn't want to fuck it up.
Oh, it's all good. It's proprietary. If you mess it up, I can sue you. All right, let's start at the top. I've got. I'm just gonna do from my own, and we'll just go from there. I got Jelani Woods with a future roll of 4.5.
I got him at 4, but
cool. I got a landing spot of 3.5. I think it takes a minute for the dust to settle there. And the raw talent, I guess I gave him a 3.5. Maybe he should have got a 4. 4's across the board for Christian. Talk a little bit about Jelani, man. Proud drafter of Jelani.
Oh, I mean, I'm just super excited about Jelani Woods. The fact that the Colts took him early, they took him in the 3rd round, but it was their 2nd pick as well. And that's what's really huge. Is so essentially it was the Colts' 2nd round pick. In Jelani Woods, they want to use him. He's an athletic freak. I like the idea that Matt Ryan's going to have this another athletic guy. We just saw what he did with Kyle Pitts in Kyle Pitts' rookie year. I'm not saying that Jelani Woods is Kyle Pitts, obviously, but what I am saying is that having Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman on the outside with Jelani Woods as this athletic tight end as a safety valve, and he can eventually work up to a more dominant role. I'm all about it. He overtook Trey McBride for my number 1 tight end that I wanted as soon as they got drafted. So
yeah. I mean, if you're talking about Trey McBride, a big problem with him is the landing spot. Arizona, Zach Ertz, 3-year deal. I got a future role for him as a 4 just because he's going to establish himself like a tight end does. It takes a little bit of time. But the raw talent is still a 4.5. Could have easily been a 5 if he had hit the 6 touchdown mark or something like that, more than 1. But he put up an unreal senior season. He comes into a room that needs some wide receivers after there's a PED. Dilio, Christian Kirk's not in town. Obviously, Hollywood Brown's here now, and they still have Rondell Moore. But Arizona's going to pass the ball. They've always done quite a bit of spread offense, and you just throw that in 12 personnel, and Trey McBride's going to get some looks. So I like Jelani better, but you can't argue with Trey McBride's production.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Those two guys. Obviously, top tier as far as the tight ends go in this class. Another 4. I didn't mean to cut you off, dude.
No, go.
Oh, clearing your throat. I got a bunch of 4s here for future role, but I'll throw out Greg Dulcich. Dulcich. I said his name wrong. He's with
Dulcich.
Thank you. Nailed it.
Thanks.
He's with the Broncos. And big Russell Willie style in the house. I think that they kind of made a statement by taking him with the 80th pick, and that he could have a role going forward with the Broncos. He's got Albert Okabunam is still on the team, but I think he could edge him out. Although Noah Fant never quite was able to edge out Albert O. So who knows? I could be wrong. Intriguing though, I really like him. We love he's got the hair, the hockey hair, or whatever you want to call it. So,
well, I'll piggyback off you right here.
Right
Speaking of good hair, I got Cole Turner.
Yeah,
I got him. I think Logan Thomas has had injury-plagued seasons, and I think Cole Turner, man, with that size, with those hands, I think he can really plug himself in to have a role on this Commanders offense. And we all know that Carson Wentz likes the tight end. So, this could be a nice friendly relationship. Obviously, raw talent for Cole Turner, I got it as a 5. I personally think that because going back to our
Box score boomers.
box score boomer days, I personally just want him to be our first guest. So I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
plugging
man.
him. Like I think we should keep this joke or not joke. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. Dude's
He's
serious. He's a serious
Tight
pass
end
catcher.
1 from probably here until 2032. I'm gonna say that right now. Cole Turner.
Oh.
So yeah, Christian, I don't know if you know this, but we plugged Cole Turner literally every box score boomer show, and with the joke that we're gonna keep tagging him to get him as a guest on the show. So let's keep it going to the NFL, baby. Cole Turner to the moon. Let's go.
He kept putting up 100-yard games, man.
He did touchdown after touchdown.
Yeah, he was doing. He's
Machine.
I really want to roster him.
I do as well. I just don't need him.
Yep. And we know Christian's not a threat. Finally got down to 4 tight ends, huh?
Yeah.
So this is like you're just snoozing on this segment.
By the way, yeah, how long did you just like look at your roster until you finally pressed drop?
It was a while. I mean, I did it for like a week. Just no one was going to take any trades at this point. Everyone's happy with their roster. Everyone likes their rookies. I wasn't going to get anybody, so I ended up just having to drop. I went with dropping Uzama as opposed to Ingram and Tanyan and Woods. Yeah, I don't have a ton like this. I like this tight end class. There's some potential here. I like Cole Turner. I think that would be fun, but I'm not buying into it. Maybe the way that you guys are, but the Logan Thomas point is a valid one. Greg Dulcich is fun, but there's 2 guys there plus a lot of receivers. Trey McBride we already talked about. Baltimore just decided to fuck up the entire tight end class by taking 2 of them and just ruining everyone's fun. Yeah. But there is a guy who I think there's a sneaky little chance that he could do something, and that's Jake Ferguson. Right. He goes to Dallas later, but he goes before Isaiah Likely, 10 picks before, in fact. And I like the idea of Jake Ferguson. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk by any means, but he is a guy that I am more interested in because he went to Dallas. I can see him maybe kind of finding a role there. We've been waiting on a tight end to break out really down there super hard for a while now. So it's a sneaky little spot, but I didn't really have too much on the tight ends.
I'm with you on there. I had him as a 4-4 as landing in future. So
I had him at a 3.5.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not, but that's all right. That's all right.
I mean, but these tight ends are wild card.
I mean, I don't think the landing spot should have been a 4, but I kind of like the idea of a 4 as a future role because Dalton Schultz is franchise tag. I think he's gone after next year. And I think they're going to ride this guy on his rookie deal for some time. And we've already talked about lacking spots in that offense. So,
well, Big Ten guys, let's go Badgers. I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you know? Don't you know?
The Badgers. I love me some Brett Favre.
Jeez. Russell Wilson is a Badger, right?
Yes, he was.
Take it for what it is. Well, all right, I'm going to throw out. I got 2 more guys I kind of want to talk about. I'll make it brief.
How?
Dude.
Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, I got to talk. Isaiah Likely. Just because
I just threw them in.
Yeah, well, he just got punished by getting drafted by Baltimore. But actually, I've always said that he's kind of like too big to be a wide receiver, but basically played wide receiver. And now you're looking at a wide receiver depth chart with Rachaad Bateman and then Devin Duvernay and then Tylan Wallace. Like, there's an opportunity for him to play a hybrid wide receiver role. Even though Mark Andrews is already doing that, there's room and targets available for him to be able to contribute on that team.
A reverse Waller.
Yeah. Hey, you know who drafted Waller? The Ravens. So anyway, let's see. Moving right along.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as a wide receiver. Huh. So anyway, that's a whole nother thing. And the last thing I have to say is that Daniel Bellinger, he made a big name for himself at the Senior Bowl. He did really well. And he goes to the Giants, who have Kyle Rudolph, and then I can't really think of anyone else. It's kind of a ghost town in the tight end room. So I think that he's got an opportunity they're going to have to play him or figure something out. Obviously, I've mentioned when we talk about Wan'Dale Robinson in the future, you'll realize how congested it is as far as targets go. So I don't know if he's fantasy relevant, but he may just have a sneaky big game here and there just because of the lack of depth at the tight end position for the Giants. So I had to throw him out there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's it. It's pretty late, gentlemen. So
I'm looking at the Giants depth chart. I don't even see Kyle Rudolph. I see Ricky Seals-Jones.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well,
and Jordan Atkins.
Fourth round pick.
Well,
Bellinger?
not bad. Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah.
He's 122nd or
Giants,
the 112th
the Giants
pick.
cut Kyle Rudolph.
Whatever that means.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we're tied in.
Sneaky. Yeah.
Now, if only we could. Let's open up another tight end spot. Add a roster spot, 2 tight ends.
Oh, I've got 5 tight ends. Let's open up a roster spot. That's how it works, right? If you have
for the
an
belt league.
overloaded position, you should ask for more roster spots.
I got a lot of receivers. Man, you know what? You know what I hate about fantasy is when you leave the guy that does well on the bench. Like, I don't want to have any strategy. I just want to start everybody.
Every league should be best ball.
Yeah, dude. Best
and we can have
ball.
overlapping players and 100 of them. Yeah.
God damn.
Oh, man.
Anyway, hey, that's shitting on the players in our league. What's up? What up? What up, dog?
I don't get the reference. I don't always read the chat. 4th round pick was Bellinger.
Ah, beautiful. Well, I think that is a wrap. Unless we want to do Malik for a second.
Sure.
All right, that's a wrap.
Yeah, notable quarterbacks, you know who they are. None of them really exist. Kenny Pickett was a first rounder, and the rest of them got disrespected in big ways.